Another week of Formula 1 action. And after the race last time round, we should be on for the best race ever, and it's Spain. Well, shit. Well, I guess it's better than nothing. This is Connor F1, and this is the 2024 Spanish Grand Prix. So here we are, back again for another round of Formula 1, with the Spanish Grand Prix, which is also the start of the first triple header of the year, but it might as well be a double header at this point with how bad the Catalunya circuit usually is. So just before we get into it, if you've liked this video, or you find yourself coming back to this video, why not subscribe to my channel, as we're closing in on 200 subscribers. So let's see if we can get there by the end of the triple header. So let's get on with the video. So before the action on track, let's get into some news, which of course, once again, Sainz is in the news about the driver market, because he just can't make up his mind. But then again, who can blame him? His choices range from Crash Team Racing, What Is Money, the team, plus Magnussen, and to we might be good if we get our shit together, the team, and hey, we have Hulkenberg now. The only team that has seemingly been ruled out is Alpine. And with a certain, someone coming back to the sport, it's probably for the best. Danny Rick has again found himself on the news, but thank God it's not about Jacques Villeneuve, but because he's come out saying he wants to keep himself within the Red Bull family, even after the masochistic signing of Sergio Perez, by staying in the RB seat for 2025. But Liam Lawson and the New Zealand media might have something to say about that. Even after their great form in Canada, Mercedes has found itself in yet another pickle, and this time, it's sabotage. Supposedly, an email has been sent through from a Mercedes team member that believes that Mercedes is sabotaging Lewis, with Toto Wolff of course having his usual meltdown about this. But if you think about it, Hamilton is leaving the team to join another team by the end of the season, and George isn't, and that rival team is one that, let's just say, Lewis has a bit of a checkered background with, so he probably shouldn't get to know what anything that Mercedes is cooking up for next season. Oh, and then again, this could be just a plan made by Mercedes to give Team LH a reason to fake having cancer again. So on to the action on track with FP1, though the word action is probably exaggerating a bit too much, as nothing really happened this session. The high-speed nature of the circuit to Catalunya doesn't really make for any good action spots on track, where the cars get to meet each other, though this didn't exactly stop Lance Stroll from pissing off Leclerc in the first session of the weekend. A new record for this season, might I add. Turn 12 seemed to be the only spot of drama, with Lando running wide into the gravel, and Leclerc almost taking after Vettel with his Spinala performance. Perez was once again complaining about the car, making the team hope he didn't use his anger to bin the car again this weekend. Though the Red Bull problems weren't only with Perez's car, with Verstappen being held up with a clutch problem, and is now on his last power unit for this season. So we shouldn't get our hopes up, but it seems Red Bull might be soon becoming the next Ferrari. With this Spanish track being the home of porpoising, the cars try to bring it back, but instead have made a couple of rear wings dance down the straight, so at least we will have something to watch change positions this weekend. Well, maybe besides Logan Sargent's position on track. Tsunoda almost gave into his Japanese history by almost crashing into Russell on the back straight, though from George's point of view it was probably just a bug flying past. Get it? Because he's small. Homeboy Alonso would find his Aston Martin to be under the pace once again, so decided to break his car in anger, leaving some carbon fibre on the track as to give Perez another reason for his Wait, I used that in my last video. Damn it. Besides Ollie Behrman confirming his seat for Haas next year by taking over for Nico Hulkenberg this session, Norris would top the session with Verstappen just behind. Though, as we went into FP2, it seemed like we had gone back to Canada as Hamilton would top the session, really showing that he isn't getting sabotaged, right Team LH? Once again, nothing really happened this session, with turn 9 being a hotspot for off-track rallying, with both Mercedes giving the curbs a kiss, and Norris seeing if his car had any upgrades on the McLaren Dakar team. Okay, we're running out of things to say here. How about we talk about the Alpines, which, with their new help, and with them looking to become customer engine teams, they wanted to change things up this weekend. And with it being Pride Month, they thought it'd be a good idea to bring out the pink livery cars once again this weekend, so at least they had something good to talk about. Verstappen was once again not happy with his setup, so my hopes are getting higher, and both stakes would find themselves getting held up in traffic, with Bottas getting a scare by another car and going wide, and Zhou not being happy with Tsunoda. Take that as you will. Norris would finish the session in third, which at first seems completely meaningless, until you realise who he was ahead of. So no wonder the McLaren motorhome blew up. So after that whole story, we would finally get back to the action on track with FP3, where we would once again see a new car at the top of the timing sheets, with Carlos Sainz finally giving his home crowd something to talk about, because it seems Alonso wouldn't be able to do that this weekend. Ferrari would finish the session in 1-3, which must have made Leclerc so angry because he would have sideswiped Norris for finishing P2. Though it isn't exactly the first time the McLaren team would be seeing red today, eh? Besides Piastri continuing to use his team's rally experience at turn 12, Verstappen continuing to complain about his car, Lance Stroll would finally find himself on screen by ramming into Lewis Hamilton, and even though he would come out saying it was on purpose, he wouldn't get a penalty. So karma should be coming his way in the form of Team LH on Twitter. The RBs had added a lot of upgrades to their car this weekend in hopes of continuing their form from Canada, though they hadn't been able to get into the top 10 so far through these sessions, so hopefully they can pick up the pace for qualifying, and now I'm eating my words. Q1 would begin with Ricciardo only getting himself into 15th, before Alonso would get his Aston up to the top 15, with Stroll somehow joining him, good job buddy, and with Hulkenberg smashing his teammate down to the knockout zone. So the session would end with Magnussen being joined by both V-Carbs and both Williams, so congratulations to Perez for finally outqualifying Sargent. Q2 would have the Alpines using their new backing to get themselves into the top 10, leaving the final runs for the Aston Martins to break back into Q3. If Q1 was a blue party, then Q2 was a green festival, with Stroll realising that he probably couldn't go any higher than he already was, so just gave up, and with Alonso pushing his Aston so hard, but could only come close, as he would be knocked out with Hulk and the kit cars joining the Aston Martins. So into Q3, where Perez would set a time, no more to say there, before Verstappen would go 2 seconds quicker than him, and even Ocon would beat his lap, as no other car would top Verstappen. But Lando Norris would show some pole scoring pace, as he would push his McLaren up to 1/10 behind Verstappen. On the final runs, it looks like a rematch of Miami, but not before Piastri got his screen time in by going off for the weekend at turn 12. No, I'm not going to make another Dakar joke, but I'm barely holding on. The Ferraris will be first to set their laps, with both going just behind Verstappen, giving us hope for a fight, before Verstappen will kill off more Ferrari fans by going 3/10 faster. So it was all up to Norris. Could he gain 4/10 of a second to get pole? He would push the car to its limits, and finally, over the line, he's done it, by only 2/100ths of a second. The grid would line up, with Lando on pole and Verstappen just behind, with the silver arrows once again showing their pace in 3rd and 4th, but with them both being 3/10ths back. So, it looks like it's time for Miami round 2. At the start, Norris would begin the fight by pushing Max to the grass, before behind them, Russell would quad across Leclerc and take the outside line to go around the leading pair to take the lead. Alonso would be given a scare by Piastri and would drop down the order almost behind his teammate as the cars would snake through Sector 1. Verstappen had gotten ahead of Norris at the start, so was now behind Russell, and already by lap 3 would drive past Russell like it was nothing. But could Russell get back past? No, Max would have your second lead by turn 10 that lap. Okay, time to bed. As this happened, Sainz would wanted to show off to the other teams just how good he was by overtaking Leclerc, though I don't think the contact was on the cards for this move, and I don't think Leclerc is exactly too happy with this. By the end of lap 15, it was time for the only good part of this Grand Prix, the pit stops, as Russell would jump into the pits to try and get ahead of Verstappen. But the Mercedes pit crew thought it was Hamilton, so did a slow pit stop. With this, the cars were truly in Max and Lando. So, with Max pitting first to cover off Russell, and with that Hamilton-type pit stop, Max would ease out ahead of Russell. So, when would Lando pit? The next lap? No. Or the next? No. But 6 laps later, with and though he was now behind Sainz, he knew his car had the pace, and now had 6 laps fresher tyres, so he would get to work. past Sainz and Hamilton on old mediums, and by lap 35 would get past Russell at turn 1. But that wouldn't end the battle, as Russell would somehow get his medium tyres to want to work for once, but finally Lando would get through to chase down Max. After this move, Russell must have felt left out over the lead fight, so tried to get ahead by pitting, but I think the Mercedes team forgot what a strategy is, so they pretended to be Ferrari by putting Russell on the hards when everyone else was on the softs. Max would box as well, as Norris would go on for another 2 laps to try to get him a tyre advantage, but not before Russell would try to get back past, but the Silver Arrows would have no grip thanks to his team, so Lando would continue his chase. Russell's pain would continue, with Hamilton getting past him on his soft tyres, so Mercedes does know what they're doing, they just don't want to help George, I guess. Oh, and Hulkenberg would get a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, though with how fast the Haas has been this weekend, I don't know how that would be possible. The final laps would close in, and was no longer looking like Miami 2.0, but Imola, as Lando would chase Max lap after lap, getting closer with each corner. But, just like Imola, Lando would come out just short, as Max would cross the line to win yet another Grand Prix, with Lando just over 2 seconds behind. Lewis Hamilton would round out the podium with a good race, as his teammate would just hold on to 4th, with Leclerc on softs just not working for him. And that was the Spanish Grand Prix. As usual, not the best Grand Prix, but with some fun pit stop strategies and a chase to the line, I think we can all say it was still a pretty good race at least. Though not from my point of view, as I struggled to get action this week. Like, come on Logan, Lance, do something! But either way, if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a video. And leave your thoughts on the race in the comments below, as we get ready for the next round in Austria. I've been Connor, signing off.